Anon conquers Equestria by Local Medic Main.
Anon.
Anon is bored, that much is clear. He definitely tried to satisfy his boredom. He tried reading books with Twilight. He tried playing sports with AJ and RD. He tried taking care and living with a pet. He tried relaxing at the spa. But the boredom persists. Anon dumps his bored self into his bed and sighs. He is so bored, and Equestria doesn't exactly have any social media nor electronics to pass the time. Anon drags his sketchbook out, one of the few belongings that had come with him into Equestria. Anon flipped through the worn sketchbook, looking at the various sketches he had been drawing since he was a teen. Anon chuckled a little when he saw his attempt to draw a person for the first time. Eventually, after looking through the sketches, he found something that caught his attention. A drawing of 3 scouts T-posing around a cowering medic. Anon bursts out in laughter as he remembers the event going down while he was playing Team Fortress 2. Anon smiles sadly at the drawing, knowing that he will never experience anything like it again. Anon closes the sketchbook, now both sad and bored at the same time. Anon puts away the book and leans into his pillow some more. An idea pops into Anon's head. His lips curve into a sinister smirk. If Anon can't have fun in Equestria, he will make it fun. Anon knows that ponies have absolutely no idea what T-posing is. It will scare the living hell out of them, especially since the scariest story that Anon heard in Equestria was a story where a ghost ruins your main style. Anon rubs his palm together, all evil-like as he plots his villainous plan. Evil laughter echoed throughout his home. Soon ponies will see evil like no other. Twilight hums her favourite little tune while she trots to her castle. Twilight is excited for a day of reading that she cleared her schedule for. She opens the door and finds that the castle is oddly quiet. Usually Spike or Starlight was always at the castle. Twilight shrugged to herself before trotting away and towards the library section of her crystal home. When Twilight arrived at the library, she finds that all the windows in the library were closed and the lights off. She raises an eyebrow at the pitch black room. She cautiously turned on the light and opened the windows with her magic. What she sees is, well, she doesn't exactly know what she is seeing. Twilight looked at her friend Anon with a cautious yet curious look. Anon appeared to be just standing in the middle of the library. His arms were spread out from his body and straightened out, level with his shoulders. Twilight is just confused. Is Anon hypnotized? Was he doing a dare? Or was he doing one of his traditions? Either way, his strange pose and emotionless expression is sent a chill up Twilight's spine. Twilight looked into Anon's emotionless eyes, her curiosity slowly diffusing into fear as her eyes kept looking into his eyes. Anon's pupils were completely fixed, just looking into Twilight's eyes. Eventually, the fear gets the better of Twilight, and she slowly backed away, keeping eye contact with the T-posing Anon. Twilight blinked, and Anon was right in front of her. She jumped backwards in surprise, landing near the wall with her back placed firmly against it. A million questions went through her mind at once. How did Anon move so fast? Is he even Anon? Is it a monster taking his form? All these questions plagued Twilight's mind, causing her to hyperventilate and her eyes to widen in fear as she kept her gaze on Anon. Twilight's fearful eyes stared at the T-posing Anon, fearful to close them again lest she allow Anon to get even closer. Twilight was quivering, but after some effort she was able to speak. Anon? Is that you? Twilight's voice was shaky and fearful, her hooves tensed and ready to flee at any time. Twilight's eyes grow even wider, and she gasps when Anon begins floating in the air, his emotionless eyes tracking Twilight effortlessly. Twilight's fear culminated into a tipping point. All common sense has left her. All her mind wants is to get away from this thing that she thought was Anon as fast as she can. Twilight looks around rapidly for an exit. She sees that the exit is behind the thing that is T-posing in the air. Twilight can feel goosebumps on her skin at the realization she will have to pass the creature before her. She takes one deep breath and books for the door. Twilight runs past the creature, but before she could make it to the exit, the door locked shut. Twilight's heart skips a beat. Twilight can feel her heart pounding as she feels a presence draw closer to her. She turns her head to her impending doom. The last thing she sees is the emotionless face of the creature staring into her eyes. Twilight's screams can be heard echoing the halls of the castle before it was cut suddenly. The castle was quiet again, as if Twilight was never there to begin with.
Celestia.
Celestia sipped her tea as she enjoyed how quiet the castle was today. It was too quiet. The occasional footsteps of maids and guards that moved past her was completely missing. Celestia looks around inquisitively, curious as to the newfound quietness of the castle. How odd. Where are all my subjects? Celestia muttered under her breath, rubbing her chin with a hoof as she pondered. It's not a holiday, and I certainly did not dismiss all the guards and maids from the castle. Celestia stood up from her chair, teleported to the guard barracks. There was no pony, just empty rows of beds and lockers. All the guards are gone. This is concerning. Celestia had a face of caution and concern as to what could have happened to all the guards, especially to have them all disappear without her noticing until they were all gone. I should alert the elements of harmony. Celestia frowned as she came to her final conclusion. She concentrated her magic once more and teleported to her chambers. The familiar scene of her room appeared before her, but something was very, very wrong. Inside the room, just before the door to the balcony, she could see Twilight's friend Anon, staring straight into her very soul. His arms were outstretched in a strange yet equally terrifying fashion. Celestia's face morphed into one of surprise as she looked on at the being that has appeared in her room. You! How did you get in here? Celestia's face, which usually adorned a warm smile, turned into a snarl as she looked at the being that has appeared in her room. Anon was silent, his eyes boring hole into Celestia with their empty, unmoving eyes. Celestia could feel shivers crawling up her back, but she holds her ground firmly and intensified her gaze upon the being before her. They both stood at a standstill. What is your purpose, friend? Celestia quipped. Celestia kept a furious and confident exterior, but in the inside Celestia is absolutely terrified, her heart pounding faster as she kept looking into the being's empty eyes. Then she blinked. A simple snap echoed through the halls of the castle, followed by the sound of a body slumping on the floor. Then the castle was quiet, meeting the same fate as Twilight's crystalline castle.
Anon?
Anon stands menacingly upon his throne made of bones, his eyes looking down upon the peasants of his newly conquered Equestria. Anon's body slowly transfiguring itself to look more stone-like and sinister as the years passed. Many rebellions started and were crushed under his mighty gaze. Anon looks at his glorious empire and thinks, damn, Trixie has the best spells. All for a Starlight body pillow too. A bargain, I say. The end.